Today is a wonderful day. I am proudly presenting to you guys the Fiat 500 GQ edition and the Fiat Abarth. Enjoy. Starting off, let's look at the key differences. This is actually a 2013 Fiat GQ edition key, and then this is a 2018 Fiat Abarth key. The same key, different logos. Starting off, we're gonna look at the GQ edition. For the passenger side, you got hard touch plastic, soft leather, you got a little cubby here for storage, and you also have a mat pocket with your speaker. And you get a really nice aluminum or fake aluminum door handle. And this is also how you would lock the car. That's locking, that's unlock. Now moving into the interior of the passenger side, for the seats, you have this really nice suede Alcantara material here, surrounded by leather. And you also have this really nice GQ logo right here with your typical Fiat headrest, and you also get an armrest for both the passenger and driver. You also get a damped glove box, and that's where you would hook up your USB and your aux cable for this particular year. And then up here on the dash, you have hard touch plastic, and then you also get color matching trim right here, which is plastic. Now, for this year, you had a CD player with Bluetooth, but no backup camera. And then this is also a 5-speed manual. And then down here, you get your 12-volt outlet, along with your cup holders. And you also get this little mat pocket right here to store your passengers' belongings. And then down here you get your e-brake. Now looking to the back passenger, you also get a mat pocket back here on the passenger side, and you also get it for the driver. And then the materials for the seats is also carried over besides the logo. And then they also get 2 cup holders back here. Let's get inside. Sitting in the back, you do feel very confined, but it's very easy to get into. And then you have your materials, hard touch, hard touch, hard touch, your speaker. Same for the other side, no storage back here besides the mats. And then this also comes with the convertible top, which I'll show you guys later. And then in order to get yourself out of this confined space, basically just lift this, push the seat up, and jump out. Sitting in the passenger side, the bolsters down here is actually pretty good, and for the sides. And there is quite a bit of room, leg room here, and you do feel pretty relaxed just sitting here. And here you have your vanity mirror, no light. See if this will extend. Nope, no extension. And then here's your sunroof controls along with your lights. And now let's take a look at the trunk. Being a convertible, you have less trunk space than you would have on the typical hatch. So this is all the space you would get. And I believe you can also fold the seats down. And here you have your amplifier, Ever locked yourself in the trunk, you do have this safety pin right here to pull to get yourself out. To go to your driver's side, you do have your GQ emblem right there. Door material is still the same. Here, see the paddles, and then your hood prop right there. This steering wheel is only tilt, not telescopic. And here you see your boost gauge, headlight controls. Let's get inside. This is where you would actually press on if you want to turn on your fog lights. They're actually pretty useful at night. And then your window switches to roll down your windows. And then this is your 5-speed manual. With reverse all the way to the right and then down. And then don't forget your sport button is over here. I recommend you use it. Your hazards and your rear defroster. And on the stock over here, this is how or where you will go to change your trip information, and your cruise control settings here, and then your hands-free Bluetooth audio phone. And then you get this round steering wheel, no flat bottom. It's actually pretty nice. It's not too bulky. And then this is your instrument cluster. To adjust the height of your seat, you would have to pull on this lever right here. And then to put your seats forward and backward, you actually have to go all the way over here and pull on this lever. Now let's take a look at the engine bay. Oh, don't forget, if you want to turn your traction control off, it's on the left side of the steering wheel. You're going to find your hood prop right here, and then you would put it in through there. It's a very small hood, so it's very light. And here you find your 1.4 liter multi-air turbocharged Fiat engine. Very small engine, very compact, very little room to do anything. And then this is where you find your turbocharger. Oh, this thing is open. Very nice. And also, you're going to find your gas lid on the right side of the vehicle. Please make sure you put premium. Now, moving over to the Fiat Abarth, as you can see here, it does have a backup camera, and it's got the Abarth logo, and also a true, or should I say a full-size hatchback trunk. I believe you can fold down the seats by pushing on these two buttons right here. You don't get a very flat floor, but this does open up a lot more room if you were to need it. And then down here, I don't believe there's a spare, barely any room, no. And then to close the hatch, you got this ribbon here, pull down. Nice. On both models, you do have these side turn signal indicators. You also get chrome handles. Materials are almost the same, except in this area you have cloth. And this is also a 5-speed manual. Everything is basically the same except for your color trim piece. You also have, they have relocated your aux and USB cable down here compared to, well, actually, you do have a USB, but it's only for charging. And then you have a different design cup holder up front. And you have red stitching on your e-brake and on your cloth seats. The seat design is also a little different. Here for the headrest. And you also have this little insert here for passengers in the back to mess with your hair, if you do carry any. Now another interesting feature on these Fiat 500s is that they got this little side mirror right here. And this is actually to help you with the blind spot that you're going to experience with this big pillar right here. It does help once you get used to it. Okay, now moving into the driver's side. Same material. Your window switches. Well, actually, this is your side window switches. And it's still a tilt-only steering wheel with your traction control there. Headlight controls. You still have your boost gauge. Now getting into the driver's seat. This is a bulky steering wheel. It's actually a little too big for the size of this car. I wish it was just a little bit smaller. And then for this year model, you do have, I believe that's a 5-inch display with Bluetooth and backup camera. And then you still have your hazards, your sport button. And then this trim, you do have automatic climate control with heated seats. Even though these are cloth seats, you still get heated seats. And then your window controls, they're both powered or automatic down, but not up. And then here you have your 5-speed manual. And then for your dash cover, you have this leather material up here. And then for your cluster, you actually have a digital cluster. And then your trip stock is still in the same location. Very nice. And then up here, I believe, well, actually, I don't think this is auto dimming. You still have your vanity mirrors. Does this model year extend? Nope. And then in this trim, you do have a sunroof. And it's controlled by this button right here. And then you do have these really nice aluminum material for your foot controls and your footrest. They are fairly small. Now let's take a look at this engine bay. You get pretty much the same setup, except you have the Scorpion plastic there. Same turbocharger. And I believe your oil filter is all the way down there. Now, as you can see, these two vehicles are very similar. This one's got a sunroof, this one's got a convertible, same engine, almost the same interior design. What else can we point out that might be different? So now let's take this GQ Edition for a test ride. Let's open the sunroof, or should I say, well, actually this convertible, you could actually use this as a sunroof, but for now I'm gonna use it as a convertible. As you can see, if you hold this button all the way, convertible will actually fold all the way down, but then you don't have much visibility. So gonna leave it like that so I can see the clutch engagement and feel is probably the best clutch engagement that I've ever felt in any manual car. It's more confidence inspiring than my Mazda Miata, actually. So after you press the sport button, you will see that you are in sport mode up here. Turning, it's pretty good. With the top up like this, you do get some buffeting and you do get a lot of wind noise. So I'm probably gonna put this back down. And it's a little too hot right now to have your convertible up anyways. As you can see here, you can also leave it like this. This is basically your sunroof mode. Visibility in this car, to your right, it's pretty good. But you do have this blind spot right here to your left because of that big pillar right there. But you do have your side mirror right there to aid you in that blind spot. When you have this car in sport mode, the throttle response actually sharpens up, so it's quite responsive. Now for downshifting, yeah, downshifting is actually super easy in this car. This car is a 6-year-old car, so there are some defects. So far I don't hear any rattles. Taking it through that curve, very nice. It's actually very little body roll. It takes a little bit to get used to this setup with this instrument cluster. I prefer the one that's on the newer ones with the digital instrument cluster. Man, the brakes are good. It just bites, man. The brakes is so good. It's so responsive. Now shifting through the gears, it's actually very easy. And then for the steering is actually pretty good. It's light. It's actually not as heavy as the Fiat Abarth. But just sitting in this car for a few minutes now, you do feel sort of confined with the convertible up, but I'm pretty sure if you open up the convertible, you're gonna feel less claustrophobic. Man, shifting gears is so easy in this car. Taking it through some of these corners. You do feel the back end slipping out a little bit. It's kind of fun. The seats do feel comfortable. And you do sit in a very upright position. And you do feel like you're sitting kind of high too. But visibility over here is so good. Usually you have a pillar coming in here, so you would have to actually go up a little bit, but visibility to your right is really good. Cool thing about this car is that it actually has hill start assist. So if you're on a hill like this, the brakes will actually bite and keep you in place for about a second. But I turned that option off because I know how to drive manual, and that would actually cause me to stall easier. But there is that option if you want it. The cool thing about the shifter being closer to the steering and higher is that you can rest your arm right here and just shift like this. You don't have to move your arm forward, backward, or anything. It's all very convenient and easy to reach. Nice. In this model, the power delivery is actually very linear. You know, there's no you know, there's no surprises. It just pulls, but it just doesn't pull you back like how it does on the Fiat Abarth. And I feel like they actually did that on purpose, because this is more of your cruising, touring kind of vehicle, but still having the same power as the Fiat Abarth. The suspension in this model actually soaks up the bumps really, really good. All in all, guys, in the end, if you want a more comfortable and quiet ride, I would go with the GQ Edition. This car's got 50,800 miles on it, and I'm pretty sure if you can find one in your local area, you could probably find them for as low as $10,000. And plus, you get a convertible. Alright guys, so now let's hop over to the Fiat Abarth. Right off the bat, you do notice that there is a different exhaust tune back there. And before you decide to go, make sure you press that sport button. Turning radius is decent. And I do notice that when you have the sport button on, the steering actually gets heavier. Oh man, I love this shifter, man. It's not short, but it's not too long either. And shifting gear is actually really, really easy. Clutch engagement is nice. And also right off the bat, oh, the exhaust note. You do notice that this car is a little rougher. And on the steering wheel, you do have a bulkier steering wheel, and you have a flat bottom. I think I prefer a skinnier steering wheel. This one seems to be a little too big, and it seems to take up a lot of room. Third gear, going through these corners at about 4,500 RPM. You do have a very nice back support. And if you're wondering, this car is a 2018 Fiat Abarth with 2,800 miles. Brand new, this car is about $20,000. Now, after driving this car for about 20 minutes now, I do feel like the Fiat Abarth is actually a little bit more refined than the GQ edition, performance-wise. That pop in the back. Ooh. You just want to rev the crap out of this car just to hear those pops. It's just so addicting. Going through a corner. Body roll is actually not that severe. There's a tiny, tiny bit of body roll. Nothing scary. I believe the suspension on this Fiat Abarth is actually a tiny bit stiffer than the GQ edition. Let's try to hear some more popping. That is so addicting. The pops. Now moving on to the passenger side. Oh my goodness. Man, these brakes are just so sensitive, but they're so good. It just feels so good, man. Holy shit. Holy shit. Forgive me. Forgive me, Joe.